cares?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm not sure that Vinny's the guy anymore. On April 29th, an 0 for 4 game against the Tampa Bay Rays. Now it's May 8th, and he's hitting 210. After another 2-hit game yesterday, he has got hits in 4 of his last 5 games, including 2 2-hit games and a 3-hit game. We need to relax a minute. A W's a W, an L's an L. And right now, the Royals are getting a hell of a lot more W's than they are L's. Somebody in the text line just said it. You would much rather win ugly than lose pretty.
That's right. That's right. 5 consecutive series wins, though. That's the important thing. Go out and win series, they say. Whether you sweep them or 2 out of 3, whatever. But they've been rolling. They have the best record in baseball since the 20th. They send MJ down. This team's been on a roll ever since. People feel more comfortable being on this team. Vinny is a matter of time. We said it, man. It's a matter of time. This guy's a hitter. This guy's a true hitter. This guy's a proven hitter. This guy's a proven 97 RBI guy.
Yeah.
Last year before he got hurt. It's going to happen. You know what? This makes – and Bobby's already great. But when you have that kind of protection – behind him, it gets even better for Bobby when Vinny starts to hit. It's a good thing. But people will complain. I do want to talk about this later because I was curious about this because I heard, Dusty and Bob talking about Vern Show, the text he was getting and people complaining because they were. And social media was a dumpster fire as usual 2 nights ago when the Royals weren't doing well against the White Sox. And then they kind of came back. Well, they did. They came back and won the 9th inning. And then everybody loved them again. It's like you hate him, then you love him. And Estevez could do no wrong, and then all of a sudden, last night, he does wrong. How are they, and we'll talk about it later, but I'm curious how people are going to do with the Chiefs. Like if the Chiefs aren't making the AFC title game or the Super Bowl, because it's all you've done in the last 7 years, how are you going to handle it? Because it still could be a damn good team. They just got beat by another damn good team that's, by the way, paid on scholarship as well. Not scholarship, you know what I'm talking about, but paid professional athletes. It can't happen. It hasn't happened lately, but are you getting too spoiled? Are you getting too spoiled? I mean, let's not forget these Royals, lost 106 games a couple years ago. Yes, they made the playoffs last year. Much better taking these wins than the losses.
You've won 14 of your last 16 games. Who cares how you won 14 of your last 16 games? As long as you're getting it done, right? This is a Royals team that 3 weeks ago everybody was beeping and moaning about because they were 8-14. They were off to a slow start. MJ Melendez can't hit. Hunter Renfroe can't hit. This, that, and the other. Vinny's off to a slow start. The pitching is Everybody other than Bobby was hitting the ball well, or was hitting the ball poorly. And now you've won 14 of 16. You're staring down the barrel of a sweep, and you get to host the Boston Red Sox for 3 games Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Good old Richard Fitz comes in and pitches against the Royals.
You've done everything right since April 20th. You were the best team in baseball since April 20th. This Royals team collectively is hitting up over 275 since April 20th. The pitching it's the best pitching staff in Major League Baseball, probably to begin this year.
Probably the best we've ever seen in Kansas City.
Yes.
At this point.
I mean, they're unbelievable.
But keep in mind, 2 out of the top 4. You had 2 starters in the All-Star game that were Royals.
Right.
I mean, you had 2 of the top 4 in the Cy Young. When have you ever had that happen? And all these shutouts, I thought it was going to be another shutout last night, to be honest with you. I was like, oh my, this team is just rolling on getting shutouts. Something we haven't seen before, but they're just killing it with the shutouts.
They are. And Estevez,
didn't get one last night. But
didn't get one last night. And you've sort of seen him lately, I guess, having a little bit more trouble. I mean, not entirely. I mean, he gave up 3 earned runs against the Colorado Rockies on April 22nd. This is only the 3rd game in which he's pitched this year that he's given up an earned run. And he still picked up his 11th save of the year, and he's only got 2 blown saves. So he's been pretty outstanding. He's got a 2.65 ERA. What makes this Royals team, the pitching-wise, more special than maybe a year ago, you mentioned that Reagans and Lugo were both Cy Young finalists, yes, but Chris Bubich is incredible to begin this year. Michael Wacha just threw another gem yesterday, 7 scoreless innings. Those 2 have probably been the 2 best pitchers on the staff so far. Michael Lorenzen is doing his job. He's got a sub-4 ERA. And then the bullpen this year compared to this time last year, night and day difference. Lucas Erceg, outstanding. Carlos Estevez doing his job pretty admirably, although he did absolutely struggle last night.
Well, put it this way about Wacha. He's now allowed, since the start of last season, Start of last season, he's allowed 3 earned runs or fewer, right, in 32 of 37 starts.
Pretty good.
3 runs or fewer, 32 of 37 starts, matching the guy that won the Cy Young, Tariq Skubal.
Wow.
That is some high company for Michael Walker that kind of gets under-talked about between Cole Reagans and Seth Lugo, of course. But, yes, he's that good.
Yeah, he's only given up one such game this year where he gave up more than 3 earned runs, and that was that April 5th game against the Orioles, and that was one that the Royals got smoked the entirety of that game, and gave up 1 earned run against Cleveland, 2 against Minnesota. He gave up 3 in 5 2/3 against New York, and has now pitched scoreless performances in 2 of his last 3 games. He threw 6 scoreless innings against the Astros on the 26th of April, and threw 7 scoreless innings last night. The craziest part, dude had like 84 pitches. In 7 innings of work, he only had 84 pitches. I know that we don't see guys throw complete games anymore, but Michael Wacha quite literally could have possibly thrown a complete game last night, going 7 scoreless innings while only throwing 84 pitches. He had complete and total command of everything in his arsenal last night.
Obviously, we know how bad the White Sox were last year, historically bad. But this dropped the White Sox, America's booty call, to 10-27 to match the 2018 White Sox for their second worst start through 37 games in franchise history. That's how bad they're parlaying last season for the White Sox.
Second worst start from
and
last start.
It's what I call them because that's what it is, man. It's a given. When you play the White Sox, it's a given. They're a feel-good story. Got the Royals rolling last year, off to kind of a rocky start. Go play the White Sox, sweep them, go on a 7-game winning streak. It is what it is. If I want to say the word, it's a booty call, it's because it is. It's a given.
The crazy part is
because the White Sox suck.
As bad as the Chicago White Sox are, they're actually 3 games up on the Colorado Rockies for the worst record in baseball.
For now, until the 4th of July.
The Rockies are 6-29. Woof.
4th of July weekend, brother.
The Rockies have given up 203 earned runs this year, which somehow isn't even the worst in Major League Baseball. The Washington Nationals, Miami Marlins have each given up even more earned runs than that. And, man, I cannot help but continue to look at the Baltimore Orioles. And I'm just wondering what is going on. Like, what has gone so catastrophically wrong with the Baltimore Orioles?
Pitching. It's a team that started feeling themselves because they started to get good. Started to get talked about. They couldn't parlay it. That's one thing about the Chiefs. Like, you parlay success into another year's success. It's tough to do in professional sports because we've seen so many teams win and then fall off the map. We've seen it lately with the NFL. Buccaneers beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, fell off the next year.
We can blame the pitching,
the Rams
yes,
fell off.
But they can't hit either. Fun fact for everybody, would you like to know who the Baltimore Orioles leader in batting average is?
Jackson Holiday?
It is not. It is former Royals legend. I say that strong, like, very, 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 facetiously. Ryan O'Hearn, yes, is hitting 304 for the Baltimore Orioles right now.
272, something like that, or he was.
He's got 7 bombs and 14 RBIs to begin the year and 92 ABs. So, yeah, Ryan O'Hearn is the team's leader in batting average. Ramon Urias is hitting 292. But, I mean, you look at this. Jackson Holliday's hitting 263. Gunnar Henderson's hitting 252. Cedric Mullins is hitting 237. Adley Rutschman's hitting 250 or 212. Ryan Mountcastle is hitting 205.
He was picked number 1 the year Bobby was picked by the Royals.
Correct.
That's the same year they got Gunnar, too. They got him in the second round. That was a hell of a draft.
It was.
For the Orioles.
And those 2 guys, as good as they were last year, you thought they were going to take massive leaps forward. And I know that he's struggling in Toronto right now, but I think that we have kind of undersold the loss of Anthony Santander to this Orioles lineup because his power bat isn't there to kind of protect some of those other guys in the order. And I think
almost
that
the guy that was here.
It's causing some turmoil. I know. I was a very strong Anthony Santander advocate. In fact, the first time that I came in and co-hosted for CDOT on The Drive, Rob and I had a lengthy conversation about how I was hoping that the Royals would make a run on a guy like Anthony Santander. And I'm like, hey, come on. Like, I would love to see a power bat like that in to protect Vinny and Bobby and Salvi. The show ends. This was right after he had signed with Toronto, and right as the show was ending was when Ken Rosenthal came out with the article saying that the Royals had offered him a deal,
Bomb.
but they just couldn't. They couldn't compete with what Toronto was offering him. And I'm like, oh, dude, you got to be kidding me.
Another thing, Logan, I don't know if you saw this. Drew and I were talking about this morning. It's in the NFL world, right? It's the Rams are taking a trip to Maui. You might say, oh, big deal. Who cares? The Rams are going over to Maui. I saw this, saw some other people from Kansas City talking about this, see some people talking about it nationally. Like, why would the Rams take a mini camp and go to Maui, right? And I started thinking, is this a new wave? Because I thought it was interesting. I started looking up the Rams because they are going to Maui. And, like, Hawaii tourism's paying for some. It's like, that's incredibly expensive because you're taking a ton of guys. The training camp roster is 90, right? You're taking all the. Those are some, well, it would take one jumbo jet to take it, but it's taken a lot of personnel over to Hawaii and all your equipment. And I started thinking, all right, first of all, it's a waste of money. But then I thought, I don't know, man. Is this the way the NFL's going? Like, I saw it this year, and I started looking up. That's the Rams' actual mandatory mini camp during that period they're going to be in Hawaii. And I started thinking about it. I was like, okay, you know they're just going to be loading that place up. Mandatory mini camps are not where fans get to go to.
No.
You get to go to training camp and all that. And you'll see on the news, the news sportscasters, they get to show the guy stretching usually or in shells or something. They don't actually get to see when there's full 11 on 11.
Right.
But to invite fans to a mini camp to me is interesting because they'll sell tickets for this and everything else, and it'll be a big deal. And I thought, this might actually be genius. You'll actually probably start seeing other teams do this. It's a way to get your product. It's the NFL, once again, thinking outside the box. Again, this is just the Rams doing this. But it could be very beneficial for them, especially, getting that Hawaii market to like the Rams. I understand why they're doing it, and these guys will get the free trip. There's a couple things that go with it. When you're in the undrafted free agent world, that's when you have to make the calls, hey, will you come play for us? Because being an undrafted free agent is sometimes better. It's actually better than being a seventh-round pick, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The money's oftentimes better. Also, you can choose which team you're going to, and it's a race at the end. Andy Reid had to get on the phone and call Brenning School, the tight end from Clemson. Like, rarely does the head coach get on and call a guy to be an undrafted free agent, but he did. He knew it mattered. He knew he needed to do that. John Schneider and the Seahawks, back when they were rolling everything and be it Legion of Zoom, Boom, and all that, they were sending out brochures of why you should come play for the Seahawks to undrafted free agents. It's important. But if you can guarantee, a nice little trip to Hawaii and everything else, you might get cut or whatever, but you get a hell of a trip to Hawaii going forward. But I can see NFL teams doing this style. When I saw that, I was like, I just kind of poo-pooed it. But then I was like, started thinking about it. I was like, this is pretty creative, actually.
Well, it's not the exact same thing. I feel like it plays off of what we see organizations do in other sports, right? Major League Baseball, they go down to the South. They go to Arizona. They go to Florida. They go to Carolina for spring training, and they do all those things, right? They go down, nice weather, all these different places to try to drum up support. Fans can go down there, watch the games, all those sorts of things, right? In the NBA, you'll hear about teams taking, like, international trips, right? The Chicago Bulls used to do it all the time in the 90s with Jordan and those great teams that they had. Is they would go to Europe or they would go to Asia, and they would take their teams over there not only to give them a great trip and a great experience, but also because it increased the popularity of their sport and it drew attention to it. And if we know anything, it's about Hawaii and American Samoa and places like that have become much more invested in the game of football. I mean, we've seen outstanding players in the last 25, 30 years in the NFL come from those cultures that maybe weren't coming previously, right? Troy Polamalu and Penei Sewell, and the list goes on and on and on with those sorts of guys. And so to go to a place like Hawaii and increase the support of your organization, the Los Angeles Rams, you got a guy like Puka Nacua within your organization, a guy who comes from a Polynesian background. It makes so much sense. And you're right.
I can see the teams doing this.
It's a great trip for your guys. And I'm trying to picture, like, where are the Chiefs going? Like, where would the Chiefs go? Yeah.
Well, my big thing is, I don't bring it up. My big thing is, they're going to go to 18 games. And now teams, all the international games, we're expanding that now. Brazil, you'll see them in Ireland now, in Spain and all this, right? It was to put them on college campuses. Take one game a year and make it like the NHL Stadium Series and have them there. But it's another topic for another day. The other things, I want to see a training camp because they let the teams that are playing first, like in Canton, and if you're playing a Thursday night game, you can start training camp a week before the others. But I always wanted to see like a Midnight Madness type thing with training camp at NFL Network. I like, doing because fans, I think, would go up and tailgate it and go to that kind of thing. So that's something that I would actually like to see.
They don't do training camp anywhere else at other places. Like the Chiefs are one of the few teams, if not the only team that goes.
No, they're one of the few. There's like a handful now, like 4 or 5.
I think that idea, as great as it sounds, and I think all of us can agree that it sounds cool.
Well, you can still do it. It doesn't matter where you're doing it. You can still do it at the complex. You can still do it in Cincinnati where the guys have to walk across a real road to practice.
Yeah, but you're not going to tailgate on a real road. It just kills the vibe where I think this is like it almost serves as a training camp where you're actually going somewhere. It's like a team camaraderie thing. Like as much as it is to build up the NFL brand, it's let's go take a trip, let's have some fun, let's get to know each other a little bit more in a place that's different, that's cool. It's Hawaii, so a lot of people probably haven't been there in the first place. Being able to go and visit a place that not too many people have been, it's gorgeous. It makes sense for you to do that. And I feel like the Chiefs have St. Joe. That is their, I know that it sounds a lot worse than Hawaii, but it's their camaraderie trip. Like that's what it is. Like, teams have training camp in the same cities that they go and they sleep in their own bed. They don't have to worry about any of the
I
other
get it.
stuff.
There's a couple things too, and also with the NFL when they go to 18 games, Drew, they're gonna shorten preseason from 3 to 2, right? That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs won't do the practice with another team. They don't like to do that. They practice against themselves. But I thought if the NFL mandated you had to scrimmage with another team, that could take place instead of a preseason game. I think the teams would get more value from that and be something
I
kind
think
of
that'll
fun.
happen a lot more.
We come back. The text line was going nuts last night, so it made me think, what would people do if the Chiefs started to do a slide? Would people lose their minds? We'll talk about that next.
This is Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30.
We need to nip this in the bud. We need to nip
what in the bud?
On your home for Royals baseball, 96.5, The Fan.
Men, here's the truth. In the bedroom, good enough isn't really good enough, is it? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if your erectile dysfunction is making intimacy less enjoyable for you and your partner, give us a call today. Because whether your ED only happens sometimes or all the time, it's time to stop good enough and time to start really good. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. Whether it's only mild or moderate, or even if it's severe, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we have a variety of treatments and can even combine protocols, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in a long time. You could even last up to an hour or more and make sex great again for you and your partner. So make an appointment and be done with good enough. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices to serve you.
Reiselman Nissan, the king of midsize SUVs, has the ride you've been waiting for. Shop the best selection of Rogues and Kicks in Kansas City with payments starting at just $399 a month. Plus, every day, Reiselman salutes our first responders and heroes with special discounts. With over 160 new Nissans on the lot, your perfect ride is waiting. Visit ReiselmanNissan.com today and experience royal treatment at Reiselman Nissan. Every customer, every time. Reiselman Nissan. Not all vehicles may apply. See dealer. Check ReiselmanNissan.com for all details.
Hey baseball fans, it's time to swing big on your bets this season. Step up to the plate with an odds boost token from BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. No opt-in is required. Just log into your BetMGM account to receive your odds boost token. Then, place a bet on any MLB game and activate your token. If your boosted bet hits, you'll score a bigger payout. No matter the showdown, BetMGM is your betting home for baseball. Don't miss your chance at a bigger payout on your bet. Claim your MLB MLB Odds Boost token today and activate the token before placing your bet. At BetMGM, the action is always on deck. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 1 to 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
For Mother's Day this year, knock Mom's fuzzy socks off with a digital photo frame by Aura that you have thoughtfully preloaded with lots of photos of you two. Name the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter. Aura frames come with unlimited storage, so you can share as many photos as you want right from your phone to Mom's Aura frame. This is a no-brainer. It is so unique. It is so original. You cannot lose. Not only will she be grateful that it's not another sweater, she'll also love that an Aura frame means she gets to see more of you. And that's really all she wants, to feel close to you and know that you're thinking of her just as often as she thinks of you. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day too. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's auraframes.com, promo code ROAM. Support the station by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply.
Picture yourself going for a drive. What comes to mind? Potholes, lane-splitting bikers, sleepy truck drivers, red light runners, distracted pedestrians crossing the road where they shouldn't. Yes, sometimes it can feel like the road is out to get you, but thankfully, Hyundai's available safety technology is designed to help keep you protected against the many challenges the road throws your way. With available class-exclusive advanced safety features, Hyundais are designed to help you enjoy your journey with confidence, style, and above all, safety. With over 130 IIHS Top Safety Awards since 2006, Hyundai is helping make the roads safer. You can change lanes with much more confidence thanks to the available blind spot monitor, which actually shows you a live video feed of your blind spots. The standard Ford Collision Avoidance Assist can help prevent or mitigate accidents by alerting you of an imminent collision and automatically applying the brakes if you don't. Learn more about Hyundai at HyundaiUSA.com. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.
For Mother's Day this year, knock Mom's fuzzy socks off with a digital photo frame by Aura that you have thoughtfully preloaded with lots of photos of you two. Name the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter. Aura frames come with unlimited storage, so you can share as many photos as you want right from your phone to Mom's Aura frame. This is a no-brainer. It is so unique. It is so original. You cannot lose. Not only will she be grateful that it's not another sweater, she'll also love that an Aura frame means she gets to see more of you. And that's really all she wants, to feel close to you and know that you're thinking of her just as often as she thinks of you. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day too. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's auraframes.com, promo code ROAM. Support the station by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Welcome back, Cody and Gold. But it's Jay Binkley, Logan Weber, Drew Nixon with you now. Kyle Larson, NASCAR driver Kyle Larson, of course, Kansas Speedway in action this week, and he's throwing out the first pitch at Kauffman Stadium today as the Royals an afternoon game against the lowly Chicago White Sox. We'll talk to Kyle about 11. You heading to the K today in between your night show?
No, not today. I'll be going on Sunday, though.
Are you?
Yeah, for Mother's Day. My wife and I are going to be taking my father-in-law, my mother-in-law.
What a gift.
And
What a gift.
How about that?
my
Great
brother
gift.
and sister-in-law, my niece and nephew. So, yeah,
That's awesome.
we're going to have a whole group going out to Kauffman on Sunday to take in Royals Red Sox, which is an interesting one for me because I actually grew up a Red Sox fan, but have slowly since I've moved away from that growing up in Kansas City. And, of course, I was a Red Sox fan because Dustin Pedroia played there, and once his career kind of derailed itself, I
You lean
stopped rooting for
Boston
the
a
Red
lot.
Sox. I do.
You got a Boston lean.
I guess so.
Mike's wife is from that area.
Did you have a tough night last night?
Huh?
You and Mac both.
Drew,
Logan.
I'm not okay.
I got to mention it because Mac was going through it this morning.
Mac was having a hard time with it.
I'm not doing okay.
I was thinking about you because Mac lives and dies by the Celtics, and I was like, "What about Logan? He's going to be struggling too."
100 threes attempted in 2 games.
Sweet.
And you've made
it
25 of them.
Most through 2 games, yeah. The funniest thing was after the game, Joe Mazzulla was like, I mean, we got some good looks. We just got to execute a little bit better. So there was no thought process in, hey, I told the guys they need to get to the rim a little bit more.
No, because that's not his style.
I
I mean, his philosophy is
live and die by the
chuck
3.
and duck, man. It is live by the 3, die by the 3. What I don't understand, I'm just going to get on my soapbox for a minute. Kristaps Porzingis averaged 18 and 9 this season. Why is he only playing 14 minutes against the Knicks? Why is he only... Al Horford. I love Al Horford. I love this man. Why is Al Horford playing twice as many minutes in an Eastern Conference semifinal as Kristaps Porzingis? He's healthy. Play the man.
I agree.
You're killing me, Joe. I listen.
This
Got
series is going to
got him a
7.
ring
You know what it
last
is.
year.
You know
I
what it
love
is.
it.
It's going 7.
My boy, you have got to stop. I like Peyton Pritchard. I don't need that man throwing up 9 threes a game. Not right now. Not right now. Get to the rack. Draw fouls. Shoot layups.
Look, they haven't even been able to get a shot off in the last 2 possessions of those games.
No.
In game 1 and 2, they couldn't even get a shot off.
No, I mean, McCall Bridges has just become the greatest defender with less than 10 seconds to go in a game ever.
Well, Bob has been rooting for the Knicks, and of course, Mac with the Celtics made an
Oh, so
interesting,
they've been having a good old
interesting
back and forth,
dynamic there in the morning
I
show.
promise I'm not a Knicks fan. However, if the Pacers do end up beating Cleveland and the Celtics come back to win the series, Logan.
I was a
there was
Kansas
some
City
trash talk going around
Kings
the building.
fan. I was a Kansas City Kings fan,
So are
Drew.
you a Sacramento Kings fan? then?
It's old. No, I dropped them like a bad habit when they moved to Sacramento. My free agency was clear at that point.
So you have a take, Bink, on regarding people or fans who
They're mad.
I think you're a little bit worried
Everybody's
about
mad.
what the reaction will be when the Chiefs.
Yeah.
We don't know when it's going to be.
What's gonna happen?
Inevitably, they're going to lose a game in the divisional round or in the
Freak
wild
out
card
time.
round. What are you worried for people?
It just, you hear it, and you hear it, Vern's post-game show, people like to call in, upset, they'll lose a game, they don't care, they've won 5 straight series, that doesn't matter to people, it doesn't matter they're winning, they're beating professional teams, they just want to complain. And you get spoiled at a point. Do we forget how long it was in this town where teams were bad? Do we forget that the area between Kauffman and Arrowhead was the boulevard of broken dreams? Do we forget that gap between 85 and 2015 with the Royals? Do we forget the fact the Chiefs had made 1 AFC title game since Lynn Dawson days? Well, I wasn't even alive when they won that Super Bowl, and I'm old. And 93 season, 94 AFC title game in Buffalo, do we forget what an honor it was to get there? They've had 7 straight AFC title games and probably could have hosted all of them too. Of course, that one 2 years ago was in Baltimore because of Kadarius Mondesi Toney dropping footballs in 2 games. It cost the Chiefs home field advantage because they would have had it over the Ravens because they had a better AFC record, so that game would have been playing here without Kadarius Droppius Toney on this team. It would have been here. But 7 straight AFC title games. I know from doing the Chiefs post game since I got here 2012 and seeing the text rolling through the game. After the game, people are pissed. I've got a lot of fire Andy Reid's, Logan. And I'm like, okay, well, tell me who you want then.
You can't pay attention to those.
No, I can't. But I respond by tell me who's better. I said, tell me another 5 or 10 you'd get.
That's
tell me.
all I heard after Super Bowl Sunday. I was doing post game after the Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And the number of, do we need to reevaluate Brett
Do we need to
Veach?
reevaluate?
We need to fire Matt Nagy. We need to do this. We
A
need to
GM
do
that's
that.
gone to 5 Super Bowls and won 3. Do we need to reevaluate the
Really,
decision?
folks, you just broke the franchise record for single-season wins, and you got to a 3rd straight Super Bowl after winning the first 2. What in the world are you possibly complaining about right now? I mean...
Well, and also this, too. Bill Belichick holds the record for postseason wins with 31. Andy Reid's number 2 with 28. So you want to fire that guy? You want to fire that guy? Because people will melt down. Like, if they don't make the AFC title game, let's say they just win one playoff game, right? And lose the next round. You don't have the AFC title game here. I mean, Super Bowl parties, it used to suck, man, with Tom Brady in them all the time. I mean, still get together with everybody and watch them because it's the Super Bowl and you'd watch the big game, right? Get excited about it. But it's much different with the Chiefs. The Chiefs have become what you do. It's become a holiday tradition. It's become a family tradition. Who's bringing the what? It's the calls and the texts to go around the family group members, all right? Let's get together for the game and watch it. It's become the fiber of what this town is all about.
100%.
What are you going to do if you don't get there? If these texts that keep coming in, I heard Bob and Dusty talking about it with the text to Vern. I looked at the text line. I was like, whoa, Vern has to deal with that. And what are they going to do with the Chiefs? Because I've seen it, and people do melt down, and then they change their tune. Because then the Chiefs come back and win.
Right.
Like the whole game would be like, oh, they suck. Reid sucks. Mahomes, all this, blah, 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 blah. And then they'd win the game. And then it's kind of like, okay, now what? Now what's your complaint? Now what are you going to complain about now that they actually won the game?
It's just one of those things. There's a saying out there about being blind and rich. That's kind of what it feels like with some, right? And I'm not saying that that's everybody. In fact, it may not even be the majority of people, right? This feels like a potential case of a silent majority and a vocal minority in this case, where the people who are the most wrong are often the loudest. I cannot believe that's the case, right? This in Kansas City, it's been unbelievable over the last 10 years. 12 years, that's watching what's happened here in Kansas City. From the 14 World Series run to the 15 World Series victory to what has occurred with the Kansas City Chiefs since Andy Reid and Brett Veach arrived, right? Making the playoffs and winning the AFC West year after year, even before Mahomes arrived, right? And then Mahomes gets here, and all of a sudden, it's not just about winning the division. It's AFC championship games for 7 consecutive years. It's getting to a Super Bowl 5 times. It's whenever the smallest, most minute sort of thing goes wrong, all of a sudden, everybody believes the sky is falling.
And the national media, too, because they won't pick the Chiefs as all the Chargers picks for the division. When the Chiefs have gone to the AFC title game, beat them. Yeah, they win 15 games. Yes, they got rolled in the Super Bowl of the Eagles, but you know what? They still win. They're still AFC champions. Beat them.
I definitely think it's some of the frustration stems from we've seen them win it and be in the game all of these times where they don't. Sometimes fans might not know how good they have it until they don't have it anymore. Somebody on the text line said they were a Cardinals fan. They're a Cardinals fan, and from 2000 to 2015, it was NLCS or bust, and now it's really tough because they aren't able to make those runs anymore. And then you look back and say, man, we had it really good at that time, where the fact that Chiefs fans are in it the way that they are and able to enjoy every single season as a divisional win, as a AFC title game appearance, as a Super Bowl appearance, you expect it so much that if you don't even get there, you lose in the game, it's very disappointing. But 15 years, 20 years down the line, or post Patrick Mahomes playing career, however long he continues to play at this rate, because he's going to play for at least another 10, you would think, maybe 15.
He's one of those guys that's cut differently. You got to pull him off the field.
I think people will look back and be like, man, we had it really good at this time, because at some point the dynasty's just not going to be there anymore. That's just the way that it's going to go. And I think that's where fans, not that they get blinded, to your point,
right,
by how good they are, but I think that's a good way to phrase it, where they don't really realize how good the Chiefs actually have it right now, how good the fan base has it right now compared to that of other teams like the Cowboys fans.
And how difficult it is doing every year.
Those wins.
Yeah.
There are people who are like the Patriots fans and the Cardinals fans and all those other
Cowboys fans are still holding on to that 30 years later. I got a couple of points. One, I think that a lot of Chiefs and even some Royals fans now, based off what's happened here in the Metro and the amount of winning that's been done over the last 7, 8 years, 10 years for the Chiefs, and the last couple of years, with the 14 and 15 runs, and then this last year and this year, sandwiched in between some really bad years for the Royals, is I think that there are Chiefs fans out there who have seemingly forgotten, or maybe they are deliberately trying to forget what it was like before.
21 years without winning a playoff game.
They're trying.
People that were born were legally drinking in a bar, Logan, in the meantime that they hadn't won a playoff game.
That was me. Not quite, but pretty damn close.
I was going to graduation, sitting there going, he's never seen a playoff win.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think that whether it's deliberate or inadvertent, you're forgetting about the Brody Croyle years. You're forgetting about Elvis Gerback. You're forgetting about, moving on from Rich Gannon for whoever. Drafting Blackledge in the first round, right? We're forgetting about what it was to be a Chiefs fan between Len Dawson and Patrick Mahomes. And some of that for good reason, right? For good reason. The second thing I have is, somebody said this in the text line, and I want to revise it a little bit. The person in the text line said, it's like having a straight A student and they get a C on a test. I think it's a little bit different than that. With this Chiefs team, and like this year, right, going 15-2, getting to a third straight Super Bowl after winning 2 straight, and you get blown out by the Eagles, because that's what it was. They got blown out, embarrassed. It reminds me of like when you're in high school and you've got a friend, you got that buddy of yours, that girl in your friend group who is a tremendous student, right? She's like she's trying to get valedictorian. They got 109% in the class or whatever. You take a test and everybody's going around the group, right? And they're like, oh, what'd you get on your math test? And somebody's like, oh, I got a 91, I got an 86, I got an 84, I got an 88. And they get to this person, and they're sitting there in the back of the room, and they're shaking their head, and they're furious. And you're like, why? What happened? Did you get a bad grade? And they're like, oh, I got a 97. I'm so mad. I want to punch you in the mouth right now. Like, that's what some of these Chiefs fans sound like at the moment. Like, you got to somewhere nobody's ever been before, and you're still complaining.
It's amazing. It's like your panties getting in a wad. People like to complain about everything, and they do. And the one thing is that people don't realize is just how damn difficult it is to do what Andy Reid does each and every year. He doesn't sniff Coach of the Year, right? He's not even mentioned. Kevin Stefanski has won it twice. Andy Reid has won it once. Once in his career, won it in Philadelphia. One time. Belichick's actually won like 3. Stefanski's won it twice. Matt Nagy has been Coach of the Year as many times as Andy Reid. Doug Peterson, same thing. But Andy Reid's number 2 all-time in postseason wins. 4th all-time in actual NFL wins. To be good every year is tougher than having a crap season, and that's what teams do. You have a crap season, all of a sudden you're good, right? You win 10 games, you're Coach of the Year. Because you turned this team around, it was so bad. Then to be good every single year, to have a bullseye on your back every single year, to be the team that every team goes and game plans and beats, that is tougher than sucking and then being good. But that's evidently what we do in society, is making Coach of the Year, is you do that. Brett Veach, Super Bowl 57, parade, holds up Lombardi, says this is what a rebuild looks like.
Yeah.
Because he was rebuilding the team. He had Najee Johnson that 7th round, Jalen Watson in the 7th round, Isaiah Pacheco in the 7th round, and they were contributing to the Chiefs playing football. They weren't slowing down. Like some of these teams, the Buccaneers win the Super Bowl, then they go in the back of the milk carton. Ran down. Like some of these teams, the Buccaneers win the Super Bowl, then they go in the back of the milk carton. Rams win the Super Bowl. You do it every year and make the AFC title game 7 years. When all of a sudden you don't make it, people want to get mad and they want to complain because their expectations are out of whack. They're out of whack. They become Kansas basketball fans.
Ooh.
It's what they've done. Not in the Final Four, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We don't care. But doing what they're doing is impossible. It's more than any other team in any other sport can say. To be that good consistently every year and not have the downfall means you're doing it in the front office, you're doing it with the coaching staff, and you're doing it with the players. Number 15. I don't care. It's got to text. Mahomes number 4 in the power rankings for players. I don't care. And last year when they did the NFL Top 100 vote, the players, they voted in like November. Remember, he was not great around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But then turned around and he actually went out and won a Super Bowl, which is the end-all, be-all, actually winning the Super Bowl. Very cool when you actually win Super Bowl rings or talk about them like Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. They can sit around at that little loser table and talk about what it would be like to win a Super Bowl. But to be good every single year, you're going to melt down, or do you understand, man, sometimes you're just not the best? Because that's what happens in the NFL. And we're lucky to have what's going on with the Chiefs. Damn lucky what's happening with the Royals at this point as well.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm sitting here looking at this list of NFL coaches of the year. This might be the most useless. This might be the most meaningless, useless award in the history of football. Like you said, Andy Reid's only won the award once. Kevin Stefanski's won it twice. Never won a Super Bowl. Ron Rivera's won it twice. Never won a Super Bowl. Bruce Arians has won it twice. Never won a Super Bowl.
He did once.
I guess he did win one. Dan Reeves has won it twice. Never won a Super Bowl. Let's go down here even further. Chuck Knox. Chuck Knox won it 3 times.
Ground Chuck.
Never won a Super Bowl.
What? People don't respect how tough it is to be good when you have the bullseye on your back. They don't respect that. But it is tougher being good every year than having good years. Because Vandy Reed came out and just won 7 games. Guess what? He'd be the coach of the year the next year. That would happen. Because he'd get the team to the playoffs, all of a sudden he'd win coach of the year. Does that make him a better coach? No. What makes him a better coach is doing it consistently every year when you have those expectations to keep on winning. And guess what? You keep on winning. The fact is, his bad year in Kansas City was 9-7. They were 2 games over 500. That's the one year he didn't make the playoffs in Kansas City, 2014. The one year he didn't make it. But he still finished 2 games over 500.
Yeah.
But that sky is falling. I'm curious how people react. I'm curious if their expectations are Super Bowl or bust every year.
For some, yes. That's where we have hit at this point.
Damn it, Drew, give me a relaxer.
Yeah, I was gonna say
some Blue Chew or something.
You gotta.
I can't say that. Text on, get mad.
You need to relax. Like just relax a little bit. We got Kyle Larson coming on.
That'd
here.
be fun.
You got to be locked in, Bink. When Kyle calls in, all right. You got to be locked in.
I will be locked in. Give me some Blue Chew. Kyle Larson next.
This is Cody and Gold.
You will not decorate my balls, period. I will decorate my balls.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Honey, our new James Hardy siding from Powell Exteriors KC looks so good. Our house went from worst to first. The neighbor waved at me today with her whole hand. I'm ready for phase 2 of our home transformation. Let's call Powell about that new deck. They're offering financing at 0% for 18 months on everything. You should call today at 816-656-1160 or take another look at their stunning work on powellkc.com, Facebook, and Instagram.
In the moments that matter most, you show up. You protect, you serve, you heal, you care. Now, let Reiselman Nissan show up for you with our Hero Appreciation Program. Kansas City's heroes get special discounts every single day. Choose from over 160 new Nissans with Kicks, Sentras, and Altimas starting as low as $399 a month, because honoring you is our privilege. Visit ReiselmanNissan.com. Every customer, every time. Reiselman Nissan.
Not all vehicles may apply. See dealer or check ReiselmanNissan.com for all details.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. So, I wanted to write a thank you note for every dollar Missouri Lottery players have given to Missouri and education, but that would be 8.4 billion notes. So to save a little time and a whole lot of paper, here's just one. Dear every single lottery player in Missouri, thank you for helping us give $8.4 billion to Missouri and education. Sorry, my trumpet's in the shop. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
QC Kinetics provided amazing pain relief for a former professional baseball player, and you have access to the same life-changing treatments as retired Braves pitcher Jose Alvarez.
I put a lot of stress and strain and work on my right arm, but my right elbow took most of the damage with 3 surgeries.
Arthritis developed, and the pain was unbearable.
It wasn't just pain when I was trying to play sports. It was anytime I was moving the right elbow. It was pretty excruciating at times.
That's when Jose discovered QC Kinetics and the regenerative treatments that help the body heal itself, restoring damaged tissue and providing relief with no surgery or downtime. Jose's message to the medical professionals at QC Kinetics:
my elbow is feeling outstanding. Where were you 10 years ago, for crying out loud?
QC Kinetics is right here. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299.
Graduation season is always so busy around our house, and when we have important celebrations, we trust Hy-Vee. They're my go-to partner for all of our family celebrations, and Hy-Vee can help you with your graduation party planning. They have party trays, personalized cakes, cookies, floral arrangements, party decor, and so much more. Plus, you can leave all the prep work and messy cleanup to Hy-Vee with full-service catering for any size celebration. Choose from a wide range of menu options to suit your style and your budget, only at Hy-Vee.
This Mother's Day, treat all of the moms in your life like a queen. No, wait, an empress with a little help from Hy-Vee. Surprise her with a stunning floral arrangement, or choose from dozens of gift cards for some retail therapy. Then bring the whole family to brunch at the Hy-Vee Market Grill. Just $24.99 for adults, $7.99 for children 6 to 12, and kids 5 and under eat free. Just one stop for endless options to crown her queen for the day. Only at Hy-Vee.
Many people seem to find certain words more pleasing when spoken with a British accent, like squirrel, schedule, and strawberry. But some phrases sound more pleasing in any accent. For example, switch to T-Mobile's new experience plans and the price of your rate plan won't change for 5 years, guaranteed. Here's another pleasing phrase. With T-Mobile, families of 3 can save 20% versus comparable plans plus streaming from AT&T and Verizon. Saving more with T-Mobile sounds very pleasing, don't you agree? Now let's hear it from the man who does the American voiceovers. Mr. T-Mobile voice.
T-Mobile's new experience plans. Families can save 20% today, and your price won't change tomorrow.
Nothing sounds more pleasing than T-Mobile's 5-year price guarantee. We hope you've enjoyed this advertisement. Advertisement.
Guarantees monthly price of on-network talk, text, and 5G data. Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Savings with 3 lines. 3rd line free via monthly bill credits. Plan features and taxes and fees vary. See exclusions and details at T-Mobile.com/switch.
This afternoon, expect a brief period of light rain followed by mostly sunny skies.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Our recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI will find you the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
Take me out to my TV on FanDuel Sports Network. Yeah, yeah. Royals games, announcers, and more Royals games. Did I mention they have the Royals? Stream now.
What's up, KC? This is Matt Quattrero. On your way home from the ballpark, make sure to listen to Vern's postgame show right here on 96.5 The Fan. I will not be listening.
96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Welcome back, Jay Binkley, Logan Weber, Drew Nixon producing the operation. You can hear Logan actually after the Royals game and Vern as well tonight. You just can't get enough, man.
Can't get enough. Got to get in front of a microphone.
What are you going to do in the downtime?
Take a nap. I don't know.
Take a nap.
Eat lunch.
Take it here.
Play some video games. Do something completely unexciting.
I've actually slept here before.
You slept here, like
I did.
Okay.
Well, Kramer and I had like a post game till like 2 or 3 a.m. one night or something, and I was with Kling the next morning.
Like, what?
I was with Kling next morning, so
okay.
Obviously you get here about 4:30 or 5 anyway. So, you know, what's the point of driving and then coming back? You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to fall asleep. Because if you fall asleep, you're screwed. So just go to Quick Trip, get a Mountain Dew or something, and boom.
There have been some times where I've considered it during my radio career. There were some time we did a radiothon in Springfield for a couple of years.
Radiothon, you'd have to.
Man, it was 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then you turned around and had to do a 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. the next day, 24 consecutive hours on air, where you definitely thought about it, or some of those days where I was working till like 9, 10 o'clock at night and then had to be back in the office at 6 a.m. It's like, do I really even want to drive home? But my house was like 15 minutes away from the station, so it just didn't make sense to
make it nice and easy.
Yeah, sleep on the floor or something.
All right, pleasure to be joined now by a guy who's, there's been 11 races in NASCAR, top 10 in 8 of them. 7 times he's been top 5, 2 wins this year as well. He's also won twice at Kansas Speedway. Talking about Kyle Larson. What's up, Kyle?
Hey, how are you guys?
Hey, we're doing good, man. So you're going to be throwing the first pitch out at Kauffman Stadium in a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I haven't done that in a while, but
it's not easy.
My daughter turned 7 yesterday, and she wanted to have a little baseball party, so we had a little scrimmage baseball game with her and her friends, so I got to throw the ball a little bit.
You know, it's one of those things too, Kyle. It's like, did you practice the distance you'll be throwing? Will you throwing from the hill, or will you move up a little bit?
I mean, if they let me throw from the hill,
they will.
I feel like that's what you have to do. So
yeah, but you know how it is. You bounce it. It's gonna be social media and all that. You know how that works.
Yeah, I don't think I'll get too out of control though, like some of them. So.
Well, it's cool to have you out there at Kauffman Stadium. You a baseball fan at all?
I would say, yeah. I mean, I'm a fan. I don't get to follow like every game. I mean, they play a ton, but especially when the playoffs roll around, I think playoff baseball is super exciting. So, love watching that, and that's usually when my time of the year kind of is slowing down too, where I'm not racing so much dirt racing, and I can be at home on the couch watching or whatever.
Because you like racing anywhere and everywhere, Kyle. It's kind of how you're wired. And big thanks to NASCAR, too, and Matt Humphrey. You guys are awesome. We love having you on. We love having the Speedway right here in Kansas City, having 2 races a year. This is unbelievable. I've always wanted to ask guys, though, Kyle, and especially, guys like you kind of at the top of your profession, like PGA players, it's tough on them, but they don't travel as much. Their caddy goes, they bring a couple bags of clubs and everything. But here you are throwing out the first pitch at Royal Stadium. You guys have sponsorship appearances and stuff to do during the week. Do you get to go home for like 48 hours or anything before you head to the next track?
I mean, your typical kind of week is if you're only doing NASCAR, Cup Series racing, your typical week would be you fly to the track on Friday or fly to the state that you're racing on Friday. If you don't have any other, media obligations earlier in the week where you go earlier. But anyways, we'll practice and qualify Saturday, race Sunday, and then you get home late Sunday night. Usually have meetings on Mondays, and then you have, whatever, you're doing to prep for the week ahead the next few days. But for me, I'm a little different because I race, a lot of dirt track stuff outside of NASCAR. Yeah. So I'm usually hopefully home, 1 day a week, especially this time of year. I stay pretty busy, but I like it that way, being active and being in competition a lot, I think keeps me sharp. So I prefer to do that, but others kind of have their own way of going about things.
Kyle, I was driving in the day and someone was in the fast lane going like below the speed limit. It drives me nuts when people are doing that. And I once asked Joey Chestnut if he can go to a baseball game and just eat a hot dog because dude can eat like 80 of them in 10 minutes. What's it like for you actually like being on a road, like trying to drive like normally because you're used to going fast and you're always racing everywhere?
Yeah, that's a valid question that we get a lot. Because, you're going, 70 to 80 miles an hour probably on the interstate. Where on the racetrack we're going 180 to 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So you would think that the sensation is like crazy different, right? But really, the sensation comes from the flow of the traffic. So a lot of times, if you're going 70 on the interstate and somebody goes ripping by you at 80, or there's a few people that go, like it feels like you're going a lot faster. So Yeah, I don't get the feeling ever of like, oh my gosh, I'm crawling on the road because I mean you're just gonna go in the flow of the traffic just like we are.
It drives
on the
me nuts. I
racetrack.
don't know how you guys do it. I was sitting there going, I wonder what Kyle Larson does here in this situation because he drives me nuts when someone's going slow. What about Kansas Speedway that you do so well at Kyle? Because you've won twice here. Obviously, it's been a good track for you in the past.
Yeah, no, it's a great track for us, and I really enjoy it. It's probably in my top 3 or 5 favorite tracks that we get to go to throughout the year. For one, I love the area. I love the state. I love the race fans here in Kansas and in the Midwest. But then the racetrack itself, it's got progressive banking. You can kind of, there's multiple lanes to run at the track, so you can kind of, if you catch somebody, you can move around and pass them a little easier than some of the tracks we go to. So it's just fun, and our car is always fast here, so I enjoy coming here and racing, and we're usually up front, which is nice.
I'm curious, Kyle, because with this generation of car, we've seen some crazy finishes like the one a year ago where you just beat out Chris Buescher. NASCAR just announced the rotation of the championship race going forward. Is Kansas a place that you think could or you think would be fitting to have a championship race at in the future?
Well, I mean, it would definitely produce a great race for the finale. Just the only problem is, geographically, November in Kansas, I feel like would probably be a little iffy on weather. So that makes it tricky for our series and picking tracks to race at. You kind of got to go to states that you can be a little more confident that the weather's going to be okay. So, Florida or the West Coast, Arizona, California, potentially like Texas, probably not even Texas, but Kansas, I don't know. I just think, you'd hate to see it raining or snowing or freezing temperatures or whatever and, delaying the race or anything like that. But it would for sure be the best probably racetrack. I would say Kansas or Homestead would be the best, quality racing to decide a champion.
You mentioned, your schedule and how busy you can be. I'm curious, with you trying to do the double again this year with the Indy 500 and the Coke 600, does it make your schedule, does it make you feel like your schedule's any more hectic with all the things that you have to do in terms of going back and forth and that week in particular, or does it just feel like relatively similar to what you're used to with going to different tracks and doing different races throughout the season while also managing your regular cup schedule?
Mm-hmm. Well, honestly, I think for a normal guy doing the double, it might be busier, but for me, it's really not. It's kind of opposite. There's less back and forth than you think. Like I'll race here at Kansas this weekend, and then I'll head to Indy Sunday night, and then I'm there, Sunday night through Sunday, I think, where then I'll go to North Wilkesboro to run the All-Star race, and then come back, and then I'm back in Indy for pretty much the whole week, and then go to Charlotte on Saturday, practice, qualify, come back to Indy, race, go to Charlotte and race. Where, a normal week for me, like I mentioned earlier, I'm gone early in the week, racing dirt races, sprint cars and stuff. So for me, the 2 weeks that I'm in Indy is like the only time all year where I'm actually in the same spot for multiple days in a row. So it's actually pretty nice for me and really relaxing. That was surprising last year for me, and then I think for everybody when I described it to them that like my schedule was way easier last year than it typically is throughout the year.
Have you ever thought about F1, Kyle? Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs is invested as a part owner in an F1 team. I know that would be challenging with your schedule, but I'm just curious because you do like to run everything. Have you ever considered that?
Well, I mean, no, because realistically, I'll never have an opportunity to race in Formula One. The FIA makes it really difficult to even get a license to race. So you have to like earn points to get a license, and I think the FIA doesn't think very highly of American auto racing, so you don't get the opportunity to gain points to even qualify for a license. And then even if I did, like, that's not my background. So it would be difficult for me to get a ride, and you're not going to be in a top ride or anything like that. So no, I don't think I would ever get the chance to do it. But it is what it is. That was never really my dream either. Growing up, my dream was always to, race in the NASCAR Cup Series and, someday down the road compete full time in a nationally touring sprint car series. So I'm pretty content doing what I'm doing.
You just like to drive. That's awesome, man. You like to do this in your spare time. Good luck today with the first pitch at a Kauffman Stadium. It's good that you practice too, because again, social media can be the devil sometimes.
Well, if I screw it up now after practicing, that's going to look really bad. So hopefully it goes smooth for me.
Good luck, Kyle. Enjoy your time in Kansas City. Good luck at the race this weekend.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
There you go, Kyle Larson, right there with us.
Good stuff. I think he's, in terms of the racing side of things, somebody mentioned on the text line, real quick before we transition, Bink, that somebody said that he could be, that Mike Joy, of course, the guy that does the Fox broadcast, you'll be able to hear him if you're not going to the race, on Sunday, that he could be one of the top 5 drivers of all time, like, period. And based on what he's been able to do in terms of the racing in different series, like Christopher Bell does a little bit of that as well, I think NASCAR is interesting because they, similar to how the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, like, hey, man, we don't want you doing too much during the offseason. Like, you need to take care of your body. We need you ready to do your job for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Story used to do that, too, all the time.
I think that's NASCAR's in that frame of mind, I think, where some people, like Rick Hendrick historically has been like, yeah, I don't want you doing anything but racing for my team. I don't want you doing any extra, where Kyle Larson has bent that rule a little bit with Hendrick. And going out and doing the sprint races, obviously, which he's, the dirt races, which he's so good at, as well as Christopher Bell. Really good stuff. So, thank you for getting a driver on, Bink. I know we were working on it. It's nice to be able to get somebody.
Well, Tony Stewart used to race a lot of these dirt races too. Like, he just likes to race. Like, you think downtime, they'd want their downtime? He likes to go race in dirt races. And sometimes they use fake names when they go do it.
Some drivers are just all about the grind. Like some guy, like if you hear a guy, this guy just loves football,
Oh, it's a love racing guy.
Very, 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 very similar in that regard. Logan, we got to get you out to a race, man, because I think that it's a lot different from watching than actually going. And even if you're not fully interested, I think the fan experience that you get at a racetrack, and Bink, I think, can back me up on this, is as good as you'll see in any sport at all in terms of, like you said, being able to like race the little cars. Mm-hmm. They've also got the sims now at the track where you can go and do a sim lap around Kansas. They've got the haulers there with all the gear and stuff. There's meet and greets with the drivers. You get to bring your own beer, bring your own whatever, and it's not a problem. You can bring whatever you want to at the races. I think it's more affordable than your traditional football game or anything like that. So in terms of the actual experience of going to a race, it's pretty freaking awesome being able to feel like the thunder in your chest a little bit, and see those cars do what they do.
It's been a while. I mean, again, I don't think I've been to a race of that magnitude. I mean, a sprint car race or, an actual NASCAR race ever. Like I said, I went to nationwide races when I was little, so I'd have to take a look at it. But even those nationwide races, you would get a good crowd together for something like that. I went and watched a couple of, I watched them race the pole and do those things. But
with qualifying and stuff?
Yeah, with qualifying. But I'd never actually been to a complete like NASCAR sprint car series race.
He does like other races, but he hasn't thought about Formula One. I get it, man. A lot of times they're in, Monaco and Bahrain and all these other places. That'd be tough to do. But there is a lot of American races now, with the one down in Texas and Vegas and Miami. So there are opportunities, Drew. But, of course, he says getting a license stuff. But I was curious because he wants to drive one of those cars.
Yeah, and I think Kyle's right. And this is no shot at the FIA, not that it matters, and not that they care what I think. But they don't like American drivers that much. I think that's pretty plain and simple. Our reputation to them is not very good. Whether it be the actual driver side of things or whether it be the ownership side of things or whatever the case is, I think that they don't like, they have a preference, and we're not that, and American drivers are not that preference, I guess is the best way that I can put it, which is where, look, IndyCar is doing very well. NASCAR this past Sunday outdrew F1 in Miami, and they were in Texas in terms of viewership. And F1 was on ABC. So, I mean, NASCAR's doing pretty good now. You know, people criticize it a lot for some of the racing that we see and all of that, but there's always things that people can fix. It's almost like the same with people complaining about the small little things, even though they don't matter that much.
Have you ever missed a race since you've been here?
No.
I didn't think so.
I've gone and I've hung out.
I didn't think so.
If I can go on Friday or Saturday, then I'll go on Friday or Saturday. This was going to come up yesterday, but I've got a college football itch, guys, and you guys are college football fans, so I feel like this is the perfect time to scratch that itch a little bit. So Greg McElroy, former Alabama quarterback, does a great job of calling games for ESPN, came up with his
Dust Dog.
We're coming up with the top 25 lists, the way too early is this, the top quarterbacks this and that. Greg McElroy ranked the top 25 coaches, and Logan, you're not going to be too happy with this list based on your fandom. I'm not mad because I know that Luke Fickell's not a top 25 coach in college football right now, but
he was at the Natty.
All three local schools, Drinkwitz, Kleiman, and Leipold, were all included in Greg McElroy's top 25. And I think there's a case that you could maybe even argue some of these guys deserve to be bumped up a couple of spots based on where they're ranked. But Greg McElroy has Lance Leipold at 17, Coach Drinkwitz at Mizzou at 15, and then Coach Kleiman at 14. Again, this is the top 25 coaches in college football. I don't know if you guys agree with this list. If you don't, if you think this should be higher, I know you think Kirk Ferentz should be in the top 25. I agree with that, Logan. You were also mad that Matt Campbell was included in there. Obviously, Iowa State.
This list sucks. This list is awful. I'm sorry, Greg. Deion Sanders at 22. But the dean of college football is not on the list. Okay,
We'll see what Deion does. Deion did bring a program back from the dead.
Yeah, but Kirk Ferentz, to Logan's point, there have been few programs, and I think Iowa fits in the same category as Kansas State in terms of its consistent relevance in college football. When's the last time Iowa was actually irrelevant in college football? Some might think they are based on how they play offense, but if you look at how they play against the best teams and in terms of their record, they are one of the most consistent college football teams in the country.
Iowa hasn't had a losing record since 2012. They have been to a bowl game every single year since 2013.
And that's one of the few losing seasons they've had with Kirk Ferentz.
Yeah,
They're consistent, but is it someone to put you over the hump? That's the question. He deserves to be in there. He's always good.
Yeah, but
he's always good.
Taking him to 4 BCS bowl games.
In fairness, Bink, is Matt Campbell somebody that's going to put Iowa State over the hump? He's a really good coach.
When they hired him out of Toledo, I was like, okay, this is going to be the dude.
That's because you love the...
Well, he's churning out NFL players, too. I mean, Brock Purdy there. This year, Jalen Noel from Park Hill that got drafted by the Texans. Wiggins got drafted to the Texans as well. He's churning out NFL talent.
That's because you're a MAC guy. Logan and I are Big Ten guys. You're a MAC guy because you like Jason Candle out of Toledo right now as well.
I do like him.
Just so happens that he's also a Toledo coach.
I like Finkel.
You have something for Toledo.
I cannot.
All-time winners coach, Finkel.
I cannot look at this. I look at, Deion at 22. Lincoln Riley at number 19. Fresh off of USC's 7-6 season. How highly impressive that is. I can't wrap my brain around it. Brett Bielema is at number 16 on this list. I like Brett Bielema, and Bielema's a top 25 coach. But him being on the list and Kirk Ferentz not on the list irritates me to no end.
I think that's a good point.
I can't, and I'm not saying that the Kirk Ferentz should be in the top 10. Iowa is, and somebody in the text line said Iowa is constantly mediocre. Mediocre, I don't think you understand what the definition of that is. Mediocre would be 6-6. He is not a 6-6 head coach.
He has 2 double-digit win seasons in the last 4 years. If you think that Matt Campbell is an outstanding coach to this texture, Matt Campbell has 1 double-digit win season at Iowa State, and that was last season.
He's got 8 double-digit win seasons in his career since he took over the program in 1999.
Having Kalen DeMoore
3 of those in the last 6 years. They're constantly. He's mediocre, super mediocre. Right. Yeah, I mean, Kalen DeBoer at 6.
That's home
Has he
cooking right
proven
there.
it? Has he proven it at Alabama yet,
No.
Greg?
I think that as far as the locals,
He had a good year at Washington.
He's got Jeff Brom at 8. A guy. Okay.
Yeah, I think Jeff Brom is. He's not necessarily overrated as
Friend
a
of the
coach,
show,
but,
Jeff Brom.
On this list, Bink, he's not the 8th best coach.
I need to breathe a minute.
Dan Lanning is 5. And here's the one thing about Lanning. I actually could see him like down the line, like with the Kansas City Chiefs, to be honest with you. He loves
He
the
said
Chiefs.
he doesn't want to go to the NFL.
Well, I
though.
know, but you can always be convinced. And the NFL is very much like college football now with free agency and the transfer portal. It's never been closer to the NFL than the way it is now. But first job was Park Hill South. Guy loves Kansas City. I don't know. Keep an eye on Dan Lanning. But Kirby Smart absolutely deserves to be number one. Dude always wins, and he's always good.
In terms of the locals, Bink, 17 for Leipold, 15 for Drinkwitz, and Kleiman at 14. Would you make any changes to where they're at? Do you think any of them should be bumped up a little bit higher on the
Brian
list?
Kelly being ninth, I think, is a joke.
I think Brian Kelly's a little bit high at 9, but I think you can make a case for all three of them to be a little bit higher on the list, but in particular, and I don't want to take Mizzou out of this equation, but I think that Coach Kleiman and Coach Leipold could be a little bit higher on the list because of what of the resources that they have compared to that of a Missouri or an LSU or some of these other schools. Like, obviously, they're not going to be in the top 5, I don't think. I mean, if K-State were to go and win the Big 12 and go on to win a college football playoff game, then maybe Coach Kleiman actually climbs his way into that top 10 and maybe even flirts with the top 5 a little bit. But for what Coach Leipold has done so far, even though they had an off year last year, and what Coach Kleiman has done to continue the consistency at K-State, it feels like they don't get the proper recognition that they do because of what their records are. If you look at the lack of resources, are we sure, Bink, that Coach Drinkwitz, I think he would be, but are we sure that Brian Kelly, if he was coaching Kansas last year, are we sure that he is any better than what Lance Leipold has been since he got to Kansas?
I don't think so. They've already gone with Sizzle and Flash before. This is the right hire for the University of Kansas. There was some things on there, like, where was Spencer Danielson? He took freaking Boise State to the playoffs. That deserves to be on a list. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
You take Boise State, and you almost had the Heisman Trophy winner.
I agree to some
Ashton
extent
Jeanty.
because you get the group of 5 gets an automatic bid now. So not that he needs to be taken off the list because
And a home game.
But yeah, the fact that he had them in the top 8 at one point in the country is something that obviously is no slouch. I do think John Summerall deserves to be on the list. Former Troy coach at Tulane did a fantastic job.
And in
I don't know if
Drinkwitz's
Summerall was on there. I
defense,
can't
he's the
remember,
only
but I
one of the
don't think he
coaches. He would have made the playoffs in the new format the year before. When he went down to beat Ohio State down in Texas in the bowl game, he would have been in the playoffs that year.
Which I think that makes this year. I'm so pumped up for college football. If you haven't tuned into the 249 Miles of College Football podcast, shameless plug, we're going to come out with a new episode next week. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. We haven't had an episode in a couple weeks now. There's a lot to break down regarding some of the recruiting stuff, which Coach Leipold, by the way, Bink, he's doing a nice job in the portal.
He's done a great job in the portal.
Well, I think I'm really interested for this season because there are Kansas State fans that are putting some pressure on Chris Kleiman, think that he needs to be better than he is. Avery Johnson is got a full season as a starter under his belt. How good could he be?
That's the Will Howard syndrome.
Could he elevate himself, Bink, into that top category of quarterbacks where he could come out in the draft? Obviously, Jalen Daniels coming back with Kansas. Can they bounce back with a good schedule? Missouri, very similar schedule, Bink, as they had last year. Almost identical outside of the non-conference opponents. But the quarterback question, is it Pubula? Is it Horn? Who's it going to be
Which
exactly?
he's a stud. He was a stud at Penn State. We'll see how he's going to do.
I'm very excited to see how those things go for the locals. And then, of course, Missouri State is in the FBS. We'll see how they do. They're not bowl eligible because of the dumb rules that the NCAA has.
They won't make a bowl game. They won't make a bowl game anyway.
In fairness, we saw it with some of these other schools that have moved
There's
up.
finally
they've done
two
it.
FBS teams in the state.
I'm not never saying never.
I'm excited for the Bears. I am. And I think that they can get there at some point. Ryan Beard, the head coach at Missouri State, great guy. I got to develop a relationship with him during my time in Springfield. He's the right guy to lead this program.
Not Petrino.
But to go from the Missouri Valley to Conference USA, and they were a ho-hum average team. You know, they hovered around 500 every year in the Valley. They had a better year this year than they did the previous year. But
You're saying it might be more like a Sam Houston situation where they go 3-9, 3-9.
I hope they win a game
maybe.
or two in Conference USA this year. Yeah, I mean, look, their non-conference schedule
tough.
is impossible.
USC on the road, Marshall on the road, and then they host SMU.
Yeah,
and then they host UT Martin.
Yeah,
they better win that game.
They better
at
win
least,
that
you know?
game against
How
UT
about
Martin.
they still
but
want Bobby
they don't.
Petrino, who
They
was their
don't.
offensive coordinator? How
Can
bad
we
they
stop
want him
talking about
No,
Bobby
I'm
Petrino?
saying, how bad they want him to be the head coach there, though.
They don't.
Guess what? He's not the coach though, Bink. So we don't
I
have
know
to worry
he's
about
at
that.
Arkansas.
Bobby
I know.
Petrino
Offensive coordinator.
can't stay anywhere longer than 5 minutes. Quite literally, he was the head coach. He was the offensive coordinator at UNLV for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like long enough to buy a house.
Well, don't forget the Falcons.
And then
He left
Jimbo,
the team a note. and
Jimbo
left.
Fisher gave him a call and was like, hey, can you come be the OC at Texas Tech? And he's like, sure. He was at Texas Tech for a year. Everybody got fired. Now he's back at Arkansas waiting for Arkansas to ultimately fire their guy so we can try to get back into that coaching job. I got to do this. I got to get this off my chest. Mizzou fans aren't going to like this. Okay, we're talking about this list. Eli Drinkwitz is the number 15 coach in college football according to this list. So I just want to.
He's lower?
I want to look at. I just want to throw a number out there for everybody. A couple numbers. So since 2020, when Eli Drinkwitz took over the Mizzou program, right? He's 38-24. He's 22-20 in the SEC in the last 5 years since he took over at Mizzou. In that same 5-year stretch, Kirk Ferentz at the University of Iowa is 36-20, and he's 29-13 in the Big Ten.
I think there's some recency
He's
bias.
He's got a better record. He's got a better record over the last 5 years.
I think there's a case there. I think it also is recency bias, where I know that Iowa.
Of course, it is. Dion's in here.
It's nasty work.
Somebody asked where Mario Cristobal was there. He is 20th on the list. Behind him to again do top 25. Behind him after 20 is Kalani
And that's
Sitake,
jokes. He couldn't win with Cam Ward.
Kurt Cignetti at 23, Rhett Lashley at 24, and then Kenny Dillingham at 25. I mean, it's hard to make a case that any of these guys should not be in the top 25. So where does Kirk Ferentz fill? But I think that Kirk Ferentz should also. You think Kirk Ferentz he should be in the top 25 as well?
This list is crazy to me.
Maybe you take out Kalani Sitake.
There's 5 Big Ten coaches on this list. Top 25 coaches in America, only 5 of them are from the Big Ten. And those 5 include Lincoln Riley from USC, Brett Bielema at Illinois, and then the other 3 I have no problem with. James Franklin at Penn State, you've got Dan Lanning at Oregon, and Ryan Day at Ohio State.
I feel like, I think Lincoln Riley's the one where you could say he hasn't been top 25 the last couple of seasons because it's just kind of been underwhelming what he's been delivering with his programs. I understand the Brett Bielema stuff. Bink, I don't know if you've seen this.
They're going to be good this year, actually.
Kurt Cignetti's on the list as well. I'm sorry, 6. Kurt Cignetti out of Indiana with 1 good year at Indiana under his belt on the list.
In the playoffs.
I was going to say, Bink, I don't know if you've seen this either, Logan. Illinois might be really, 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 really good this year.
I think they're going to be good. I think a couple years ago they had one of the best defenses nobody talked about in the country, but this year they'll be good.
Give Illinois a lot of credit. And I'm a Brett
I
Bielema
hate
guy.
saying that because I hate Illinois.
Allmeyer's coming back?
Yeah. I'm a Brett Bielema guy, in case you guys just, for
former Wisconsin guy. I wish they had him
Arkansas. He was. Do you know where he played college football, Drew? Do you know where Brett Bielema played college football?
No.
I'll give you a hint. He's got it tattooed on his calf. Look up Brett Bielema calf tattoo. Why don't you answer that one for me real quick?
Do you know where the head coach of Arkansas went to played college football? Sam Pittman?
I do not.
Pitt State.
I mean, is it Northwest Missouri State? Let me see here.
No, Brett
it's
Bielema.
Iowa.
Yeah, Brett Bielema played football at the University of Iowa. He's got a Tiger Hawk tattooed on his leg.
He's a Big Ten guy. I mean, the only mistake he made was going to Arkansas.
That's true. He never should have left Wisconsin.
Yeah, well, Wisconsin should have never got rid of Paul Chryst either, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, they thought Paul Chryst was going to be Brett Bielema, and he wasn't quite Brett Bielema.
Wisconsin's going to run the ball more, though, so I think we're excited about that.
Sure.
I am so pumped up, though, about college football this year, though, Bink, because K-State's going to be in the running. KU could bounce back. Mizzou, theoretically, should be in the run to at least get a good bowl game, at the very least, if not contend for the playoff. But obviously, the SEC is the SEC, so makes it tough.
Also, Willie Fritz, by the way, played at Pitt State, too.
He's turning around the Houston program.
Head coach Houston.
Okay.
Got a couple Pitt State guys in college football. Good stuff, Drew. I can't wait for your podcast. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, we are back at it.
So you're back at it every week now.
Not every week,
couple weeks.
But every couple weeks. And then once we hit June, that's when we're going to really get into the conference previews. I got my college football preview coming out in August. So,
which, by the way, you put a lot of time in this because you look at every single Division I team.
All 130
he puts a sheet out. He should sell this.
All 136 teams get 2 pages in my preview. It's over 280 pages.
He should monetize this.
Who needs Phil Steele?
It's a lot of work.
Who needs Phil Steele when we got Drew?
I'm no Phil Steele. I love Phil Steele.
His guide's coming out in about a month.
that.
I don't know about you, Logan, but I go out every June and buy college football mags. I know I could look it up and look online, stuff like that, but there's nothing better than having a hard copy.
Oh, 100%.
College football magazines.
True.
I even had Drew's last year. Drew even forwarded me the file for it.
Yeah, it was free
He
last year.
put a lot of work in for free.
Yep.
Nice.
Well, we'll have to see if things change this year, but yeah.
Know what to do. Come up next, though, Chiefs Red Half Hour.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Wendy's has this new Cajun Crunch chicken sandwich. And to be honest, I'm kind of crushing hard on this Sammy. It's packed with bold Cajun flavors and topped with crispy onions for a satisfying crunch. All on Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich. It's honestly kind of my dream sandwich. I hope it likes me back. For a sandwich you'll love, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
Listen, Mom loves anything you give her for Mother's Day, but what she really wants is a call or a visit. Anything to feel close to you. And a digital picture frame from Aura will go a long way to making her feel closer to you. Help Mom miss you less by putting the power of technology to work. Aura Frames was named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter and featured in 495 gift guides this past year. I absolutely love it. There's no doubt in my mind my wife Janet is getting one of these things. She loves pictures so much, I know she is going to love this product. So the next time you need to call your mom, you can also send her a new pic of you from that trip that you were telling her all about right from your phone. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, listeners can save on this perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver mat frame. That's auraframes.com. Promo code ROAM. Support the station by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply.
Cosentino's food stores are celebrating 77 years of serving Kansas City. Come in today for incredible anniversary savings across the store. You'll find some of the hottest prices of the year, now through May 20th only. From fresh produce to family favorites, don't miss the unbeatable prices at every Cosentino's location. For 77 years, it's been our family's honor to serve yours, and we're just getting started.
The NBA semifinals are here, and that means all the show-stopping action continues and even gets turned up a notch. Don't miss your chance to bet on all the legendary moments with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. Want to see if that guy's hitting his over consistently, or maybe they've been flirting with a potential triple-double? Get the latest stats right inside the FanDuel app. And once the game starts, that's when things really get interesting. You can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. When you place your first $5 wager, all you need to do is visit FanDuel.com, use my promo code KFNZ to join today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued with nominal drawable bonus bet, which expires 7 days after street restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy.
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Many people seem to find certain words more pleasing when spoken with a British accent, like squirrel, schedule, and strawberry. But some phrases sound more pleasing in any accent. For example, switch to T-Mobile's new experience plans and the price of your rate plan won't change for 5 years, guaranteed. Here's another pleasing phrase. With T-Mobile, families of 3 can save 20% versus comparable plans plus streaming from AT&T and Verizon. Saving more with T-Mobile sounds very pleasing, don't you agree? Now let's hear it from the man who does the American voiceovers. Mr. T-Mobile voice.
T-Mobile's new experience plans. Families can save 20% today, and your price won't change tomorrow.
Nothing sounds more pleasing than T-Mobile's 5-year price guarantee. We hope you've enjoyed this advertisement. Advertisement.
Guarantees monthly price of on-network talk, text, and 5G data. Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Savings with 3 lines. 3rd line free via monthly bill credits. Plan features and taxes and fees vary. See exclusions and details at T-Mobile.com/switch.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back, Chiefs Red Half Hour. Jay Binkley, Logan Weber, Drew Nixon producing the operation. Man, I love the words Chiefs Red Half Hour. I've said this all week. I'll say it again tomorrow, Logan. Can't wait for that. But the Kansas City Chiefs, I know we've talked a little Chiefs. So when can you talk Chiefs? You can talk Chiefs anytime you want because the NFL is a 12-month-a-year thing.
It works 365, 100%.
It really does. But as far as the offseason program, they're now in phase 2 for the Kansas City Chiefs. The national media, I think they get directives, right? Pick against the Chiefs and make a good case of why not. Because that has to happen, right, Logan? I mean, they're not naturally thinking that, are they? I mean, these guys know football. They're not naturally wanting to crap on the Chiefs, are they?
Not most of them, no. I mean, there are people out there, right? And I'll give respect to those who pick against the Kansas City Chiefs for, reasonable reasons. Like Mark Schlereth, right, on Fox Sports, right?
He hates the Chiefs.
Breakfast Ball on weekday mornings. He's a Broncos guy. His hatred for the Chiefs is well-founded. But for others who hate the Chiefs just because the Chiefs win, or whatever reason you might have, I don't have respect for your opinion. And there are going to be folks in the national media who are going to pick against the Kansas City Chiefs. Number one, because it doesn't make for interesting television nationally for everybody to just be like, oh, yeah, the Chiefs are the best team in football, and say that every show's over, right? You've got to have a cause for debate or discourse. And so there are going to be people that, hey, peel back the curtain, go a little inside baseball. Sometimes people don't always say things that they mean to try to drum up a conversation or produce entertainment value, unless you're Skip Bayless, who's just a downright moron and says things to say things. I think that there are people that are going to pick against the Kansas City Chiefs because they reasonably believe that, or they can't stand the Chiefs, or there's going to be plenty of people out there that are going to do it because they think it's going to cause some sort of a rift.
Or be like Colin Cowherd, that'll be pro and con. He'll be for them and then against them, then back for them at some point.
What did you guys see? There's a list on, from ESPN, every remaining hole for each NFL team. And the whole the position they put was left guard.
That's understandable. We got to replace Tooney.
I know, but but I don't think they've listened to what Brett Veach and Andy Reid have said. Because throughout this entire offseason, they have said it'll be a competition at left guard between Kingsley and Caliendo. That's what they've said. And Brett Veach has mentioned they like Kingsley at left guard. So I understand that you need to replace the guy, but this is all, if you've listened to what Andy Reid and Brett Veach have said, they've suggested multiple times that this is going to be a competition, and it's going to be between Kingsley and it's going to be between Caliendo to see who gets that spot based on things that they've said about Kingsley and just in regards to the position itself. Where, I mean, if there's another position of need, I don't know if you need to necessarily fill a hole, but, looking at other positions, I wonder if there are not bigger needs necessarily that stand out, but going forward, is there anything that they haven't addressed that they should? That you think?
I think the left side of the line remains the biggest question mark, obviously.
They've
I mean,
addressed
you
that,
can say
though, in
it's
some way, shape,
Jalen
or
Moore
form.
coming in from Frisco, the 5 starts behind Trent Williams, but you still have question marks, and you should have question marks about that. And I always thought replacing Tooney, easier said than done.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's an all-pro for a reason.
Of course.
The guy's considered the left best. Now, he did struggle once he got to the Super Bowl playing left tackle because his arms are short. He's a guard.
Yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
he is. And he's been playing out of position. And he did well against other teams until you got to that elite front of Philadelphia. He was good until then. But still, you're replacing the left side. So you should be concerned about that because you can't just say, immediate fix is drafting Josh Simmons. He's got the injury, not 100%. You can't just pencil him in right now. Jalen Moore, there's justification. There's reason for him to be good. Former 5th-round pick out of Western Michigan, a big opportunity for him to be good and get paid in the NFL.
Yeah.
So you're once again getting guys with good reason to be good. And Kingsley, who knows? People were real high on him at tackle last year. I was skeptical about it. The second round, I think, was good for him. Definitely not first round. I think that would have been a waste had they done Kingsley. And you clearly saw him on some mocks last year going in the first round of the Chiefs, which I think would have been a mistake for the Chiefs to do that. But yeah, left side of the line is a question mark and should be because a lot of the team is the same. Your tight end, still Kelsey. Your backfield at this point, probably still going to be Pacheco and Hunt, even though you'll see some Brashard Smith at times, which I think is an upgrade. But I liked P. Ryan and what he did for the Chiefs, to be honest with you. But didn't get the job done, but they did get the Super Bowl and they did win 15 games. So there's going to be, and guys are a year older, which in the NFL, that does matter. So, yeah, I think the left side of the line is the biggest question mark. You think you got answers, but we're not going to be sure until they actually play games.
I mean, you could say the same thing about D tackle, though. Like, we don't know about Omar Norman Lott. Like, you lose Turk Wharton, who had 8 sacks last year.
And Derek Nottie.
Yeah, and here's Turk Wharton, the guy that was undrafted at Missouri S&T. You know what I'm saying? Things happen.
I understand that you might think that the position isn't good, but in terms of the big of a whole, the Chiefs, I think, believe full on believe that it's going to be that they like Kingsley at the spot and they think they have the answer. I don't think any of us think that he can. One, we don't know, but two, based on what we saw last year, they don't have a guard that's got that's the caliber of Joe Tooney, obviously. But does that mean that the hole isn't filled? Like if we've heard what the Chiefs have said, I don't think that
just because there's a guy, I don't think it's filled, Drew.
I don't know if they. I don't know if that's the biggest hole necessarily because there's other positions you can pinpoint to that they've addressed, but you could also argue there's nobody like who's replacing Turk Wharton. We still don't know if it's Omar Norman Lott. You'd like it to be because they picked him in the second round, but that, I mean, Jaden Hicks is supposed to fill the void of Justin Reed. It's supposed to, like you think it's filled, but is that actually filled? Like, or cornerback too? Like we think it could be Noah Williams or Christian Fulton. If Noah Williams is ready to go, they picked him in the third round. I think that I think it's only a conversation just because it's Joe Tooney they're replacing as opposed to somebody else. But you can make a case. I think interior defensive line is, I mean, if they struggle against the run, all of a sudden in the interior, that was their strong suit last year. So, I mean.
No 100-yard rushers except for a guy that was a quarterback in Lamar Jackson that had 122. That was it.
Yeah, I just
Not
wonder
even
if it's actually their biggest hole. Like, it looks that way, but based on what the Chiefs have said, it doesn't sound like they believe that left guard is a hole that needs to be filled. Or they believe it's a hole, I guess, that needs to be filled, and it's going to get filled by Kingsley or it's going to get filled by Caliendo, and they're content with that because they haven't done anything to address that interior offensive line position like that.
One thing on the defensive line they did do is they went heavily after guys that get to the quarterback. Norman Lott's win rate, I mean, even limited snaps, was the best in the country. Gelati had more pressures than anybody in college football. I mean, there's a reason why they selected who they did, because they can get to the quarterback, because they went to 18th last year in sacks. They were number 2 in the NFL the 2 previous seasons, so they obviously see the value in that. That's something that they want to do. But, yeah, just to expect the offense, they did struggle at times. Yes, they won games, a lot of one-score games. They did win them, but they had to be perfect down the stretch to do that. But you're expecting health. You're expecting Hollywood Brown to be healthy. And Hollywood Brown doesn't exactly put together full seasons. He never has. It's not what he does. He's oftentimes out. Rashee Rice is going to miss games. We know that from the suspension. So then can you deal with an injury? So is Jalen Royals the whole answer for that? I still have my question marks at wide receiver, even though on paper they look very good.
I'll answer for this. They put it as they phrase it position of need as left guard. A position of unproven left guard, position of need, no. I'm sort of in the same boat that you're in, Drew. Honestly, if there was a position of need, a position that the Chiefs could go look at a free agent or a trade possibility to try to answer a question, I still think it's running back. I don't like what the Chiefs did this offseason at running back. I don't like it at all. Re-sign Kareem Hunt, I guess. I don't think Isaiah Pacheco is your guy. I don't think he's your answer. I don't think he is a perennial 1,000-yard rusher, which I think you need in today's NFL. Even though the Chiefs don't like to run the football a whole lot, that's not Andy Reid's philosophy. I get it. With the two high safety looks, teams are going to have a competent running game. And I don't think Isaiah Pacheco is a 1,000-yard rusher. He doesn't exhibit a ton of vision. He's coming off the injury issue, right? He's not the most powerful runner in short yardage situations. Kareem Hunt is on the other side of 30. He's a short yardage back. Brashard Smith is a gadget guy out of the backfield. And unless he can prove otherwise, I don't like at all what the Chiefs did at the running back position
this year.
It's not
true for 3-down back that you drafted. You drafted somebody in the 7th round.
No, you haven't had one since Kareem Hunt was here the first time.
And this was a draft to do it because this was the best class. Chiefs even said that. It's the best class is the running back class. And I agreed with Drew and Rob. They did a segment yesterday when we talked about the success of 7th-round running backs. Like Pacheco's on that list because he's over 900-yard rusher. But 7th-round running backs traditionally haven't been very good. But the problem is 7th-rounders this year probably going 5th round and years before. I agreed with Rob on that. 7th-rounders this year probably going the 5th round and before. You can get undrafted guys, that have had success in the NFL. This year was different. It was a loaded class. We'll see what they do. I'm just saying you have to find that explosiveness, and you have to count on injuries. They've been lucky across that offensive line. They've been lucky across that. And not only that, give Patrick Mahomes the time. Give him the time where he's not worried about being planted on the ground and he can deliver the football downfield. Being a running back for the Chiefs should be a luxury because early on with Mahomes, you're not seeing 8-man boxes. You're not. You're seeing guys back up, too high safety. Look, you're creeping up now when the Chiefs aren't throwing deep because 2 years ago they didn't throw deep at all. Last year a little bit more, but they haven't the last couple of years. They've been inside 10-yard box.
That's because they were seeing two deep safeties.
But that's where that running back,
of the time.
A good running game supplants that, and so teams, if they do that, then start creeping up to stop the run because they respect it, opens up things down the field for Patrick Mahomes.
But we know that because I think last year, at least Alex and Cody and we were, I'm sure you guys felt the same way. We were saying it till we were blue in the face. They need to run the football just a little bit more. They just don't. That's just not what Andy Reid does. And
Kareem Hunt did lead the NFL in rushing, so they did run a lot that year.
I know, but how long ago was that?
His rookie year.
I mean, things change.
So what, 17?
Yeah, I mean, that was 8 years ago, Bank.
I know. I'm just saying they have done it.
I just think that based on what we've seen in the last 3 to 5 years, it has been a pass-heavy offense, and they don't utilize the run enough. And to your point, Logan, I don't know if they have a running back where they can utilize that in a effective nature where, to your point, Banky, they use the run to help set up things a little bit more down the field. That's just not what they do.
You don't want to be predictable either. 3rd and 1, here comes Kareem Hunt.
Well, of course not.
3rd and long, Brashard Smith's in the game. You don't want to be predictable in what you do.
And in fairness, though, if you need to get 1 yard and you're running, you should be able to get 1 yard. And we talk about the short yard situations and the problems that they've had over the years.
But they won't do it because Mahomes' knee.
I know. It's not even the sneak thing. If you're running the ball with Kareem Hunt, like a running back dive, like playing Madden, right up the middle, you should be able to get a yard. I understand that stuff happens, but
behind Humphrey and Trey Smith, you should be able to.
That's what I'm saying. There's no excuse for them to be on a 3rd and 1 and not be able to get that 1 yard.
They utilize the tush push, just not at the line of scrimmage with the quarterback. It's beyond that.
Because I think Brashard Smith is fine and can contribute, but I get people's frustration where you see a running back that could be available earlier on, like a Dylan Sampson was a popular pick for everybody here. Obviously, the local guys with Devin Neal and DJ Giddens. But you see a back that could be effective and a home run hitter, RJ Harvey type of guy. I think Rashard Smith could potentially be that guy, but you would have liked maybe the Chiefs to get somebody that had a higher ceiling like a Dylan Sampson or an RJ Harvey earlier on. Again, it's hard to knock anything that the Chiefs do based on what we've seen over the last 3 to 5 years.
Because results speak for themselves.
Exactly. It's really hard to go against anything that they've done, even if it might not be as appealing to the eye for any of us.
But you got to constantly evolve, and at some point, Patrick Mahomes will be 30 years old this season. Not at the beginning, but his birthday, October, something like that, I think he turns 30. But that's your best weapon. And you'll never have a quarterback of that ilk, probably in my lifetime. Or yours as well, Logan. You're probably not going to see a quarterback with this ilk.
No.
And so you supply him with talent. Give him protection on the line. Look at what Washington's doing with Jaden Daniels. It is ridiculous what they've done on their offensive line and what they're doing at skill positions to help out the quarterback because they realize we're going to be good because of this quarterback. And so that's what they're doing to fulfill the needs.
Yeah, I agree. But you can't become so completely one-dimensional. I mean, I got people in the text line. The Chiefs the running game in Kansas City is never going to be a thing. They ran the ball 450 times last year. The running game exists in some respect.
It takes pressure off your quarterback, so that
it should be more of a thing than what it has been, I think.
I'm not asking for Derrick Henry I'm not asking for a guy to rush for 1,500 yards on 350 carries for this Chiefs team. I'm asking for a guy that can rush for 1,000, 1,100 yards on 220, 230 carries just to take some of the pressure off. Just to make a 1st and 10 turn into a 2nd and 5 instead of a 2nd and 8, and now you have to throw the football on 2nd and 3rd down. I just make the team a little bit less predictable and put you in a little bit fewer 2nd and 3rd and long situations by having a guy that you can rely on in 3-down sets.
But as far as having the national media pick against Chiefs, I'm with you, though, Logan. If you have a good excuse, if you have a good reason. But picking against the team that goes to 7 straight AFC title games, it's tough to do. It's hard to make that prediction and sound